Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Forgotten Vehicles. In this one, we're going to be talking about the Armored Kuruma and the not so Armored Kuruma. But before we get into that, let's dive into the Easter eggs of the previous episode. Now, of course, being as original as I am, I decided that it was a good idea to have the plate of the Bifta say Paradise and the plate of the Paradise say Bifta, because I'm original like that and all of you got it. So congratulations, you've all done a good job and I'm very proud of you. Jokes aside though, for this one I didn't really think of any good Easter eggs aside from the extreme obvious because, you know, RRP pack standard method. But for that reason, I'm going to leave it all up to you. So if you have a good Easter egg for it, then make sure to comment them down below. And if you're funny enough, I'll feature in the next episode. But without further ado, let's dive into today's episode about the Kurumas. The Kurumas were first released in the Heist update in March of 2015, after the very long awaited update was finally there, and of course many were rejoiced when they saw that the Kuruma was actually making a return, myself included. Of course, a very lovable vehicle all the way back to GTA 3. It was something that was particularly excited about to do a heist in, because as you might remember, GTA 3 started also with a heist, which was a very nice little throwback, and I had all sorts of ideas to start doing like a cinematic tribute to it and everything. But back then I didn't even know what a Rockstar editor was, because I was completely and utterly useless with it. Some might say I still am, but at least I try. But one of the things I should definitely mention about the regular Kuruma is of how good it is when you're going off-road. It's among one of the best cars that you can use if you decide to take an off-road track for a spin, as well as the fact that it's just overall a very grippy vehicle. And unfortunately, yes, it did get very quickly overshadowed by that Armoured Kuruma in the general scheme of things, because literally everyone and their mother started using it, not only in free roam but also in just heist and missions in general. This vehicle was the turning point for GTA Online and how people would approach certain things. And you know, if you're like myself and like, oh, you know, Armoured Kuruma, you know, I've used it whenever it came out, it was extremely useful, especially even till this day for like something like the Kuruma Mastermind, people are still using it. But it's such a legendary vehicle in that way, and unfortunately the regular Kuruma did get overshadowed by that if you're not really into the more racing scene and doing a lot of off-roading of races. But of course, as great as the regular Kuruma is, the Armored Kuruma definitely took the throne with a lot of things. It quickly turned into not only the one-stop thing people would use in PvE content like missions and heist, it also very quickly turned into that vehicle that you saw approaching to you very rapidly in a certain type of color, very rapidly trying to get you to die and ram you off the road, because this thing had so much weight to it, nothing could stand in the way. If your vehicle was any sort of light, the Armored Kuruma would just make quick work of you, and it was pretty much over. Now, of course, this was also paired later with a bulletproof helmet, and you know, still till this day, it is seen amongst one of those first grieving tools people would use. Prior to the Armored Kuruma, what people would do is they would use something like an entity or an adder and drive backwards to try to shoot you down with their AP pistol. With the Armored Kuruma, that was no longer necessary. You could just drive up to someone and best of luck. And if you want an example of that, I went back all the way to 2015 to find a video that is exactly going to show you what it was like when it first came out. People were absolutely clueless.
Wait till you see the... No, 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 no.
Now this must have been about day 2 or something, and obviously as time went on, more and more people started to figure out that one RPG was just simply gonna do the job. But there's no way around it. The Armored Kuruma had a very big impact on GTA Online and the way people were playing it. It was literally a game changer. Until this day, people are still using it in stuff like Criminal Mastermind in their old heists and everything. And of course, you know, RIP to the pack standard method, because we all remember when the pack standard first came out, you were able to store it in a nearby garage, then drive to that garage and pick up the Armored Kuruma and just literally not lose a single dime during the pack standard heist. Obviously those strategies have evolved, and you know, we still have plenty of ways to get the money there safely, but the Armored Kuruma is definitely a very legendary vehicle in many things, and in my opinion it is a little bit forgotten because of all those new armored vehicles that you see nowadays, especially in free roam. You don't really see this thing being used an awful lot because it can be taken down with one RPG compared to the many of other vehicles out there that are also armored and can definitely take at least 2 or 3 RPGs before they go down. But those are just some of my thoughts about the Kuruma and the Armored Kuruma. Of course, I'd love to know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all later.